What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Remember, this is AC Reviews the World, back at you with part 3. All right, we got a good couple of things we're going to go over. Of course, the main thing on a lot of people's talking points and minds is the updates to the Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf stabbing. So we're going to look at all the updates that came out of that, the bond reduction, the most recent press conference that the Karmelo Anthony family finally had. We got the talk about the FSU school shooting that most recently happened, and just some other stuff that's happened throughout the week. The government Shapiro's house fire or arson attack. So we're gonna get all into that, and I got a couple other videos that we're gonna be looking at and giving my thoughts on. So remember, everybody, this is AC Reviews the World, and we're just going to keep, at least once a week, I'm going to be coming at y'all with new stories of the updates. But let's go ahead and get right into we're going to look at first the Karmelo Anthony's bond reduction.
Within the past hour, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony has been released from the Collin County Jail after posting bond. A judge reduced his bond this morning from $1 million to $250,000. He's facing a murder charge after police say he stabbed another teenager, Austin Metcalf, while at a track meet at a Frisco high school. Stephen Dial is in McKinney with more. Stephen.
Karmelo Anthony left the Collin County Jail in a suit but had nothing to say to the reporters before he got into that vehicle. The district court judge says that she looked at all the factors in this case, him not having a criminal history, and that led to her making her decision to reduce his bond. 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony was silent after bonding out of the Collin County Jail and being placed on house arrest.
How is this self-defense?
2 days after the family of Austin Metcalf buried their
That's a good point. They always ask. They ask first thing, how is this self-defense? First thing I'm asking, why bring a knife? And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, it's Texas. Everybody has a knife. I don't remember being in school, and I live in the South, not in Texas, but I live in the South. And I don't remember bringing guns or knives. It's not a gun, of course, but a knife to any kind of school event. I would definitely carry knives around when I'm not in school, but I would never bring them to a school event. It just wasn't in my thinking.
Their son, they were at the Collin County Courthouse for a bond reduction hearing Monday. Karmelo Anthony is accused of stabbing and killing Metcalf at a Frisco track meet earlier this month. The case has quickly become national news, drawing a lot of attention, resulting in threats and increased security at the courthouse.
Threats and, talk of race war and all kinds of insanity isn't good for, obviously, the Anthony family. It's not good for the Metcalf family.
Cameras were not allowed inside the courtroom, but we did capture the Anthony family arriving. His father, Andrew, testified in the hearing. District Court Judge Angela Tucker said that she's never gotten this volume of calls and had to have this level of security in the courtroom in her 13 years on the bench. Court documents say Anthony stabbed Metcalf during a fight. When an officer arrived, court documents say Anthony told the officer, "I was protecting myself." Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis spoke after the hearing.
The judge has made the call, and so what's important is what's next. And it's our job to be level-headed, to be fact-based, and to follow the truth wherever it leads.
Anthony's father testified he's taking a leave from work because of the incident, and his wife is a stay-at-home mother with 3 other children. During the hearing, the prosecution brought up the fact that more than $400,000.
Now, y'all see that? $418,000. Now, this was what, 2 days ago? Or this might have been before that. But together, people have donated over $418,000. That's still lower than the goal. The goal was $500,000. But Jesus, but I myself wouldn't donate, but I can't if you feel like you need to donate to either side, to Karmelo or to Austin. But let's keep going into it and finish this video up.
Have been raised for the Anthony family, saying a reduction is not needed because they have the funds. A big question in this case will be, why did Anthony bring a weapon to a high school stadium? It's a question that was asked of his attorney.
That's an understandable question, but it's not something that, frankly, we're prepared to even go into.
Now, in the opening statement to the media,
That seems like a very simple question, but and it should be a simple response. Why did you bring a knife to a school event?
from that interview that you just heard, he led with talking about self-defense. Again, the court documents mention self-defense. We'll have to wait and see how that defense will be made in court when things pan out. Now, according to the judge, the terms of the bond are house arrest and ankle monitor. She told him to stay off social media, and he has to personally call her bailiff every Friday morning, not his parents, but him. And there's a list of other things that is set, and if he violates that, he'll return to the Collin County Jail.
All right, Stephen.
There's nothing, a lot of people are getting upset because of the bond reduction. Everybody knows that bond is never meant to keep you inside of jail for indefinitely until the trial is. It's supposed to be reasonable within everything that's happened. To be reasonable depending on who the person is, the crime that was committed. But all right, well, next we're going to get into with the Karmelo Anthony stuff. It appears that they ended up having a press conference, the most recent press conference. Let's get into it. And where the family and the mother, especially the mother, finally spoke about. Let's get right into that. Let's see. Now let me first say, so let me find this video. So the father, Austin Metcalf's father, pulled up to the press conference for Karmelo Anthony. Now he didn't do anything. Nothing happened, at least not what is shown. He just pulled up, sitting there quietly, and had to eventually leave. And he was asked to leave. Now let's get into this video with Austin Metcalf's father first before we go into the press conference.
Hello everyone. We are about to
now this is at the very beginning before anything
started in a few minutes. Testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3.
Now, if you didn't hear it, the minister, the dude who was just talking, just asked Austin Metcalf's father to leave. Now, he wasn't doing anything. He asked the police to escort them, that he's trespassing on the property and that he shouldn't be there.
Security for the Next Generation Action Network. Over here, in swing across the wall, we have security that are here in the building. We have a blended of Dallas Police Department and security for the Next Generation Action Network. Let me make this very clear because I say this unapologetically. The Next Generation Action Network has never played with the safety and security of anything. We don't play those type of games, all right? We like to, whenever we're doing a protest or anything, everybody in the media know we don't play when it comes to safety and security.
That was it. He pulled up. He was talking. That's all he was doing. It wasn't any kind of loud outburst, anything like that. Now let's get right into the press conference itself and the family that finally made it a statement about everything that's happening and things that they're going through and rumors that have come out about them. All right, let's get into it.
I want to start off this press conference to say something as a deep note that I can tell America. What we seen at the beginning of this press conference, the father being at this press conference, these are my words, don't quote anybody, is a disrespect to the dignity of his son. Next Generation Action Network from the beginning has respected the loss of life.
Now, how can you say that? It doesn't seem like he came up there and did anything. All he was doing, if my son was the one who was murdered, I would want to be at the conference too. I wouldn't. He's not making any kind of fuss, or he's not yelling, screaming. No, he's just sitting there watching. He's already said that he's forgiven the son for Karmelo for what he's done. Some people were upset about that, but I don't see why you had to kick him out. He wasn't doing anything, but was it just because the family was uncomfortable? I mean, their son killed someone. It's not gonna be comfortable for some time. It's just, but he wasn't doing it. They may say because he was it was safety aspects that he might threaten, or he would have done it as soon as he came. But let's keep going.
No matter our opinion of it, we have kept our opinion close. We have not attacked. We have not shared the information that was shared with us about Austin Metcalf, because we respect the dignity of life and loss. And as a minister, I would not attack a grieving family, even if I disagree with them. When I have stood before this podium for people who have died at the hands of law enforcement, I have asked for that same manner of respect. And even when the shoe is on the other foot, I will not do that. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who was not invited.
He didn't do anything. He was just sitting there listening. He wasn't making a fuss. I understand, yes, he wasn't invited, but the son of the victim, and you're having a press conference about the family of the son who killed his son.
He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay?
So the actions of the son who stabbed the kid speaks louder than words. All right.
He has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting non-stop about this case. It is outright disrespectful. We haven't been doing it. The Next Generation Action Network has been here. Popular.
Now, he is correct. A lot of people have been posting false narratives, different memes, AI photos of both Austin and Karmelo. Facts have not come out about this case yet. All you can do is give your opinion on what we have seen so far and what the police have made known. Is that some kind of fight happened, that Austin grabbed Karmelo and Karmelo responded with a knife at Austin. That is what we know. And we have to wait to find out any other evidence about bullying, that they say that that's why Karmelo feared for his life or anything like that from the witnesses that the police tracked down. Now let's keep seeing what he's saying, listening to him talk. I heard that he talks the majority of this conference, so we're not going to watch all of it. But
and unpopular. So regardless of what going on, that was disrespectful.
So
I always ask, but that's a good thing to get right into the next. We're going to go right into listening to
Good afternoon.
to Karmelo's mother speaking at the press conference. So let's get right into her.
My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in the legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
Now, she is 100% correct that there should be no reason that any side of the family should be receiving death threats. It was Karmelo's ultimate decision. Yes, he is a child, but you cannot be sending death threats, leaking their personal information or address and any kind of information about their job of either side. Can't be one is no. Either side, you cannot leak. I also heard the judge also who lowered the bond received death threats. There is no reason. We need to just go through the legal process, let the evidence be collected, and only then can we make a decision about how we feel should happen. All we can do is give our preliminary decisions and thoughts on this situation itself. I wonder why they didn't have the father speak. Maybe they wanted the mother to show some more emotion or other things like that. But that is the main updates that has come out for the Karmelo Anthony case. It's very sad for both families. Basically, both families are losing a child. Because I highly doubt that he's going to come out as just self-defense and get away with everything that has happened. I am extremely doubtful about that. Now, the next thing we're going to be looking at is Governor Shapiro. Governor Shapiro ended up suffering from an arson. His home suffered from an arson attack. Why so much violence is happening nowadays? People are just resort to violence. I don't understand it. But let's get into it and see what it's all talking about. Now, this happened, let's see, a good while ago. Let's get right into it.
This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop.
Really strong words there from Governor Josh Shapiro. We are learning new details this hour about the shocking political attack in Pennsylvania. The home of Governor Josh Shapiro set on fire early Sunday morning while the governor and his family were inside sleeping. Today, investigators revealing new details about the suspect, including plans that he had if, in fact, he had come into direct contact with Shapiro. Let's get right to CNN's Danny Freeman. He's live for us in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Danny, these pictures are just so hard to look at. Governor Shapiro, obviously, has been someone who has a very straightforward and pragmatic messaging on many a political topic. And I think you could really hear in his voice the conviction that he has around this. What more are we learning about the person who did this, why they did it, and how we ended up here?
Yeah, Casey, you could hear the conviction in his voice and also the genuine concern for his family and others who were inside the house when this fire started. Like you noted, we got a lot of new details today about exactly what happened. So let's start with the suspect here and how police believe he got inside of the residence behind me. We're talking about 38-year-old Cody Balmer, and police say that on Saturday night, overnight into Sunday morning, they believe that Balmer actually jumped this fence right over here, got access to the governor's residence grounds, and on him he was carrying a bag with.
So it was just that easy to get onto the governor's property? That just doesn't make any sense.
With beer bottles filled with gasoline inside of them. Now, this is all while the governor and his family were sleeping. This man, Balmer, according to police, then went over to this building behind me. It's in the southwest corner, not thankfully where the governor and his family were sleeping. He broke a window, threw a makeshift Molotov cocktail into the building, then broke another window with a hammer that he brought with him, climbed into the residence himself, and threw a second incendiary device inside of the building as well. He then, Casey, was able to escape by jumping back over the fence, but this is where the story kind of takes a remarkable turn. On Sunday, he actually turned himself into police. He went to Pennsylvania State Police headquarters. It's a massive complex right here in Harrisburg, and he essentially, according to court documents, confessed to the crime and admitted that he was the one who set fire to this particular building. But this is perhaps the most chilling part about that. When he was speaking to investigators, again, according to court documents, police asked him, as you noted, what was your plan if you had encountered Governor Shapiro inside of his residence? And he told police he would have, quote, beaten him with his hammer. But Casey, one of the troubling parts also about this case is that when it comes to motive, we still really don't have.
Y'all heard what he said? He said he would have beaten him with his hammer. That is insane. He was out to murder him.
Have a ton of information. In those court documents, he told investigators that he had a general hatred toward Governor Shapiro, but still there's no more larger evidence as to what made him jump over that fence and set fire to the governor's residence, no less on the first night of Passover on Saturday, Casey.
All right, Danny Freeman, we are just learning in here as well that Cody Balmer, the suspect here that you've been reporting on, is going to be arraigned at 5 p.m. Tonight.
Y'all see this man? He looks not in his right mind. Look at this. Look at his eyes. One eye is a little droopy. He is very high. That's all. There's no blunt way to put it. Look at that. Jesus.
That just in to CNN here. Danny Freeman, thank you very much for that. And we did hear from President Trump briefly on the arson attack when he spoke with reporters in the Oval Office as he sat with the president of El Salvador. Watch.
This is crazy. I don't understand how we can just someone just goes around and wanting to throw a Molotov cocktail in a governor's house. There's no, where's the security at? There should be police. There should be someone guarding the governor's house. There's no reason someone should be able to just jump over. But let's keep going into this story and see.
I was not a fan of Trump, I understand, and just from what I read. Trump, I understand, and just from what the attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, and just from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of any, just a whack job. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
Crazy.
All right, and joining our panel as well is CNN senior national security analyst Juliet Kayyem. Juliet, let me start with you just on, obviously we're still getting new details in terms of, what this man was up to. Clearly, he wanted to be known to police because he turned himself in. Yes. Clearly, this was a political target. Again, we don't know what role anti-Semitism may have played in this. We don't know exactly what role politics may have played in this. Donald Trump seems to be trying to say, well, he didn't do this because he loves me, which of course is often how Donald Trump, talks about the world, is how it impacts or references him or doesn't. What does it say to you? I mean, this is the latest in a string of violent incidents aimed at politicians. What does that tell you?
We're in a stage where there's sort of this normalization of political violence or the threats of violence against political figures. And I want to talk about
Now, it is crazy how much people are going after political figures or people who are in the public eye. And you can't just say Governor Shapiro. There's a lot of people who are, you can even bring in Elon Musk, because he is a public figure and very high on the, he doesn't want to say political scale, but he is very high on the political scale. There is violence against someone you disagree with is never okay. I repeat, violence against someone who you disagree with is never okay. Should be no reason for it. You need to either not listen to what they say if you don't agree with it, or just, you can talk about it, make a video about it. This is why we are in an information or content creator age. There is no reason you should be just going up and attacking anyone you have a disagreement with and don't believe in their views. That's just a insane thing to think about. Now, we're going to keep following that story. See any more information. When I make my video next week, we're going to go into any more information we find out about the arsonist. Oh, Jesus. So much violence. But the main thing we're going to be looking at today is some of the violence that we're going to be reviewing that's happened around locally. Now, this next video we're going to get into is by Anton Daniels, who y'all seen a couple of videos I've done with him. He's looking at, so basically a family argument after a mother's passing ends up in 5 different bodies, which is, I don't even understand, but let's get right into that.
I don't know what to make of it. In 31 plus years of this job, this ranks up there with one of the crazier ones I've heard.
And we begin with breaking news out of the west side of Detroit, where 5 family members have been sent to the hospital, all of them with gunshot wounds. Detroit police say there was a fight between family members and then things escalated into a full-on shootout. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hillary Goulston.
And I'm Dave Spencer. We are learning more now about the conditions of those multiple victims. Fox 2's Camille Mary joins us live from the scene. Camille, so much to unpack here. Where to start?
Yeah, 2 people, though, are critical condition and 3 in temp serious. But let's talk about what happened. Let's rewind the clock back to yesterday. And that's what led up to all this, is a family member died after a long-term illness. She was an elderly woman. And then today, all the family members were together trying to discuss logistics after a passing, what to do as far as funeral arrangements go, where to have the body taken, when all of a sudden chaos broke out. A physical altercation, then a shooting. We know right now, as I said at the top, that two brothers in their 50s in critical condition, and then 3 women who are also family members. One of them, the
Let me say this. There should be no reason 2 50-year-old family members who are brothers, should be fighting after their mother passes away. There should be none of that. We can have a discussion about what's going to happen. The mother would not want to see this. There's no reason that we should be fighting right now after our mother passed away. That is just insane. But let's keep going. Anton's going to say something crazy.
The wife of one of the brothers, and then also a niece who was in her 20s, also in the hospital. Now,
this is a prime example of you have to go ahead and divest yourself against the community, because it doesn't matter how old they are. These dudes are in their 50s. This isn't even a situation where, I've heard of situations over in Chicago where, YNs, they got to roll back up on their ops because one person got killed in a drive-by, so they shoot up the funeral. And that's as bad as it gets, right? But you also have a group of people in the community, and this is why you can't live around everybody. This is why you can't reform the hood. It is made up of a group of people that live their life a certain way, and they never grow past how old they were in high school. They grow older in their physical form, but their mentality and the inside of who they are in their hearts, they are still 18, 19, 20, and 21 years old, rolling around.
Now, let me say, I feel the same way he does. You cannot, if you're the only person who wants to change your community, you will not make a difference. Now, you can't be the only one in the whole community trying to make a change, because just because you change and you want change, they're still going to treat it just like it's the hood. They have to want to change. It can't be, we're tired. They have to be tired of all the violence and everything that's happening in the community and want to change. It cannot be just one person. I'm tired of this. No, it's never going to happen. And if your community doesn't want to change, then I'm sorry, you have to leave. You cannot stay there if you are trying to grow and trying to better yourself and your family in the same community that's going to keep trying to hold you down. Now you can say, and you can't just leave. No, you need to leave the community if it's not helping you grow and it's just holding you and your family back. But let's keep going into what Anton has to say.
It don't matter if they get married. You heard them say that it was a wife of somebody that was ultimately injured also. 5 people are now injured because 2 people got into a confrontation. And this kind of extends into my conversation with Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf, because we have grown adults with children mindsets raising other children, and we can't teach them how to be emotionally intelligent because nobody can walk away. Everybody has got their pride on their shoulder. Whatever it is that happened.
Now, I don't know if we can just bring Karmelo's family into this, because we don't know about Karmelo's family. All we can do is that I believe, and I believe most people believe, that the child is a reflection of how he was raised. If they were raised correctly, then they should behave correctly. But we don't know how their family situation is.
Argument breaks out, probably some old wounds that was never healed, people beefing, next thing you know, and don't nobody scrap no more, right? We was able to kind of hide this for a long time because people used to put up their hands Win or lose, you just get into a confrontation. It really don't even matter, right? You was able to kind of hide it and get away with it for a long time. Now it's 10 times worse because people now, everybody got a pistol. Everybody and their mother got a pistol, and people are willing to shoot it out. The wives there, I remember, and it's just kind of it kind of reminds me of a lot of the different situations where people are saying like, man, if my girl was there, she better jump. Okay, now she got hit too. Ain't no telling, probably kids somewhere crying. You got one funeral.
Now, I said this about the Karmelo Anthony case. Why are kids or teens, or it can just be anyone, why are people so quick to go for a gun instead of using their hands? Is it because they don't believe in their fist, or is it just that some people will say that they don't want to end up on a video on YouTube? That used to be the thing. We used to say, "Oh yeah, I'm not going to end up on YouTube." What did Charleston White? What did he say? He said he was making a joke, but he was like, if I get knocked down or something like this, I get beat down, knocked out, and I get up and see those people with the phones, I'm going to shoot the people with the phones. There's no... If your hands don't work and they're not good, you can't shoot out to solve the problems. Take your beating, go home, and get your hands right. That way everybody still living. They're going to be a little embarrassed, upset, but that'll make them work harder and get their hands together. There should be no reason we just killing people on the street when this could have been just solved with just a normal fist fight, and we doing throughout our day. You're going to be hurt a little bit, but you're going to go back home, eat, get up, and be ready to go to work the next day. Jesus. Now someone gets shot, you get in trouble for shooting somebody, now you're in jail, and two lives are wasted. There's no, just like Karmelo Anthony, use your hands. That way, instead of both y'all lives being ruined, the only person who's upset, the only person who's affected is the person who lost the fight. Then come back, get your hands right, and then go back to school and deal with the picking on. Just get your hands right, and then if you got to, you get upset again, fight them again if you got to. But there should be no reason you should be resorting to killing somebody. Now, it's never good to resort to violence, but there should be a level of violence that you picking up a weapon and using it against somebody is way different than you just settling it with your hands. But let's keep going into it.
Well, everybody is supposed to be coming together and fixing a situation, and they grieving over it, but then it turns into chaos because everybody is so evil. Who knows? And it could be over anything. It could be over a wound. It could be over something that she left, that somebody arguing about, that they felt like they was entitled to. It could be anything. And as soon as you see a situation where emotions get high, things escalate and it turns negative. And so it don't matter if this just so happened to be in Detroit, right? Now you got the whole neighborhood in your business, everybody mad, and 5 adults. This makes us look bad, not even us, but the culture look bad.
5 adults are in the hospital. Reason that 5 adults should be in the hospital. Grown adults should be in the hospital dealing with it.
Are you going to tell them, hey, you got to do things differently? You can't be caught up in this nonsense. The police should be able to use their resources for things that is more conducive for what it is that we need to solve for as far as continuing to keep crime down in the neighborhoods and all of that. But no, they got to sit here and oversee it and sort through evidence and use taxpayer dollars and resources to figure out who's going to get charged, who pulled first, who was in self-defense, and it's all just emotional. At some point, anybody could have de-escalated this situation and said, you know what? You got it, fam. My bad. I ain't even tripping about it. Nope. We got to stand on business. Nope. We got to get our egos involved. Nope. We got to get our wives shot too.
The Assistant Chief Fitzgerald talks about this way better than I can. So I want you to listen to what he has to say in his own words.
I just seen her yesterday.
Sounds like
I seen her patrolling yesterday. I seen her on street patrol.
it started with the two brothers in a physical altercation.
See?
Gun falls out of the one brother's waistband. Another brother picks it up, fires a shot. Others return fire to defend that person. And even when the original officers, the responding officers arrived at scene, they were still fighting on the front lawn. One of the family members had a broom, hit another family member with the broom.
Y'all fighting on the front lawn for the whole neighborhood to see y'all problems is crazy, man.
And embarrassing themselves in front of the entire street. Ain't nobody tripping. I'm sure somebody got it on camera. It's probably on Facebook somewhere.
World
Okay,
star.
so right now we know that there was also a person who was inside the house. This all happened outside, but who was inside the house, who is suffering from a stroke, who is recovering from that. Police.
Jesus. And then Greg Gam done got a stroke too. Somebody else's auntie done caught the stroke. So they out there with brooms. Somebody having a stroke because they stressing out. The situation has already escalated because of somebody that passed away in the family. The brothers is out there fighting on the front lawn. One gun drops. One of the brothers pick it up, fire a shot. Everybody, this is absolute chaos.
This is too insane for this to be a normal family. You can't. This is not how a normal family should operate. This is just dysfunction at its finest. There is no reason to this. Y'all shouldn't. Y'all, if this is how y'all act, y'all should not be together at all.
For me, time to move, put the house up for sale. I don't care if we short sell it. I don't care if we, enough. Enough is enough. And I don't want to talk to no more family members. We done. Nothing else for us to talk about. When it got to get to this point where somebody's life is on the line, we done. It's over.
Somebody drop a gun and people are immediately firing. I'm done with cookouts, man. Family reunions. I'm living. Call me before if you want to see me. I'll stop by. Don't get my address. Jesus.
Worried that he could have maybe been hit in this, but he's okay. And then also a bullet hit another house. Luckily, no one was hit. Right now, it's kind of a hectic situation because someone walked up. He actually walked up to us first and then to police because he's trying to get to his house back there. He's screaming at police. Police are trying to get him to calm down. He doesn't appear to be related to all.
What is this neighborhood? There's nah.
All of this, but still kind of adding to the stress and the chaos of this scene. But for now, that's what's going on. Of course, we're going to stay on top of this and bring you the latest information as soon as we get it. Reporting live, Camille Mary, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, Camille, whenever you're dealing with these domestic situations, we know emotions can run high. Do we know if the family members who were not injured are cooperating with the investigation at this point?
Nope.
Well, again, interesting. And also, too, I didn't even tell you where this was. This is in Detroit, Sussex and Linden. Again, I apologize for kind of the chaos. You can probably hear the screaming behind me. But we do know that one of the people arrested, a woman, is also believed to be a family member. But who shot who? One of the people who shot is in the hospital. But police still trying to sort it all out. Just a very chaotic, messy scene. And again, this with this neighbor arguing with police is not helping matters at all.
Nope. Ain't nobody helping nobody. Ain't nobody gonna snitch. We just gonna go ahead and keep escalating it until it gets to the point where somebody dies, and then we gonna claim victim, and it's a system that's against us. Listen, the biggest part of this is that we have to de-escalate. We have to learn how to control our emotions, de-escalate, and then let that lead us into a peaceful resolution. And we got to get rid of the anger that is in our heart, that is pent up, so that when you start to find yourself in this type of situation, whether it's somebody that you ran into or somebody that passed away and you just come together, y'all need to put away the ego and try to figure out how you can solve for it. But somebody at some point has to be the bigger person, or you're going to find yourself in a situation like this that makes it difficult for you to even plan for funerals. Now somebody else might have to be planning for a funeral. And ain't nobody telling the police, ain't nobody snitching. You can forget about it. Let me know what y'all think.
Anton is 100% correct. Someone has to be the bigger person. We cannot, as a people, we cannot go right to violence in an argument. There should be no reason that we are starting to fight when we are having a discussion. Even if it's passionate discussion, we cannot go to swinging or throwing hands, and especially picking up weapons. We cannot stoop that low to where we would just start swinging on people. It's crazy. That is crazy. Now, next we're going to look at Tay-K. Now, if you don't remember, Tay-K came out with that song, The Race, that was popping. I can't even remember what year that was. Jesus, I can't remember how. That was when I was in college. That song was going crazy. But he was finally sentenced for murder from back I'm assuming this was what he was rapping about while he got caught. But we're going to watch the sentence of Tay-K. The streets is upset. Get what's coming to you. That's all I can say. But let's get right into it. Remember to like and subscribe. Go back and look at the original videos. Remember to subscribe to Anton Daniels, his channels. And we're just going to keep up to date on all the important stories that we were talking about, especially with Governor Shapiro and everything like that. So let's get into the next video.
All right. It states that we unanimously find that the defendant, Tamar McIntyre, did not cause the death of Anthony Saldivar under the immediate influence of sudden passion arising from adequate cause. It states that punishment to be assessed at 80 years in the prison, and there is no fine. Does anyone wish to have the jury polled?
Not when you say, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
80 years. 80 years. That's life. Some people are going to be like, oh, he'll get out in, 50? Well, even in 50 years. How old is Tay-K? Tay-K at least 20. 70? In jail till you 70? Your whole prime of your life, you're in jail? Hopefully not becoming somebody's boyfriend. That, Jesus, protecting your behind the whole 50 years. Expect you in the 80 years protecting your behind. No, this is why I like to be a upstanding citizen. Jesus. But let's keep going.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm first going to start with your unanimous decision stating that there was no fighting of sudden passion. If that is your verdict, I'll need you to respond yes. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
We'll start on the end. Is this your verdict? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Off.
I'm on the back row. I'm sorry. Is this your verdict on the back row? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
With regards to the sentence of 80 years in the prison and no fine, if this is your verdict, I need you to answer yes. Does everyone understand?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
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 Back row, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict? Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have...
The life would leave my eyes so quickly. Jesus.
You go back to the jury room, and I'll meet you back there shortly. Everyone, please rise for the jurors.
That's a clean polo shirt. I'm just going to say that. Was that a Gucci belt?
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, Mr. McIntyre, the jury found you guilty of murder. Your punishment is to be assessed at 80 years in the prison. The court will give you credit for any time served. There's a $0 fine. And with regards to the other offense, State, are you requesting that to be stacked?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor.
And I'm assuming you're against that, is that correct?
We are, Your Honor. We would just like to briefly, for the record, maintain that our argument would be that to run consecutively an 80-year sentence on top of 50.
Just one moment, counsel. Just give me one moment.
I don't know if y'all picked it up, but the next charge they want to run concurrently. Now, if I'm saying that right now, if I'm not saying that right, I apologize. But basically, they want to have the 80 years and then the next years of whatever sentence that he's also facing. So not stacked to where it's all combined into, these 80 years. No, 80. Then I don't know how much the other one, 10. No. So life. It's basically, this bottoms down to it is life. That is what he is going to most likely be in jail for the rest of our lives, or at least of our prime adult lives. It is, let's finish this up. Jesus.
Mr. McIntyre, I want you to know that I listened to all of the evidence in punishment and thought about whether or not your sentence should be stacked. I don't know where your mom is, don't know where your father is. I know that you had a rough childhood. And I do know that these offenses occurred when you were very young. And I understand the state of the law, what people consider an adult. I listened to the testimony of the expert that was brought by defense counsel. You've already been sentenced to murder in the other county, and then you have a murder here. And the sentence for 55 years, that's a stiff sentence. This 80-year sentence is a stiff sentence. And these are cases where you have to serve half your time, and that's day for day time, and I recognize that. Hopefully you will grow.
So he has to, for that 80-year sentence, he has to serve at least 40, and then in order to get on parole. So that's what I am hearing and I'm understanding. So 40 years, I don't know how old, let me do it quick. How old is TK right now? Let's see how old is he? Okay, so he is 24 right now. So if God is willing, he only has to do 40 years. 64. Yeah, I'm going to stay on the good side of the law. Jesus.
But based upon his age, based upon the number of years that he has received out of Tarrant County and the number of years that he's received here, based upon his history and the lack of any type of good parenting. From what I can tell, his mother wasn't a good parent to him. His father wasn't a good parent to him. Child Protective Services was not good. And if you believe the testimony, I don't know why Child Protective Services would place children back with a father who put the children's mother in the hospital. Is there something else that needs to be done with our society? Yes. Is more money need for Child Protective Services and their workers? Yes. And I do realize that while this is a lot of time, and I tell people all the time, anytime that you do in custody is a lot of time. But by that same token, you're still alive. And what the state has said is true. You're still alive. You can still better yourself. If you end up in prison for the rest of your life, you're still alive. You still can improve yourself.
Yeah, she's right. You are still alive, but is that truly living? Hell nah. Jesus.
Your family can still visit you, but the complainant in this case is deceased. And you need to internalize that the complainant in this case is deceased and that his family is never going to see him again. So you're going to have to make changes. And you're going to have to remove people from your life who are not of benefit in the means of making you a better person. And I do understand that sometimes people will go to prison, they join gangs because you need protection, because you're there by yourself, you're young, but you're going to have to make better choices. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to send in.
Now, if you're in jail for life and the gangs or people are threatening to kill you and stab you, I don't blame somebody for joining a gang when they're, what else are they supposed to do? Some of the police officers are not going to care, but that's a whole problem with it. That's a problem with the corrections facility that we're going to. You don't, even though you're in jail, you don't have that much protection against other people who are in there, but that's all. I mean, it's, at the end of the day, it's the consequences of your actions that put you in that particular location. So you can't blame anyone other than yourself. You cannot blame anyone other than yourself. Jesus. Now that was TK's sentencing. Now, if you remember the song, God, that was he was snapping on that song back, and I remember that. Jesus. He doesn't look like he's gonna be out while we are still young. It does not look like he's gonna be out while we are still young. Jesus. Golly. Now, the next thing that I want to get into is the FSU school shooting. Now, we're going to go over that stuff and hear about the victims that all, it was a crazy scene, but let's get right into it.
On the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee tonight, 2 people are dead, 6 wounded, and the alleged shooter is now in custody. Authorities say he's a student and the son of a longtime sheriff's deputy. Shots fired just before noon near the student union at the heart of the campus. An alert immediately went out. Law enforcement rushing in, the campus on lockdown, students told to shelter in place. Officers tending to the injured and confronting the shooter. Heavily armed officers securing the campus, clearing the buildings one classroom at a time. Students told to drop everything and go, walking away with their hands on their heads. Tonight, investigators and students alike are looking for answers. ABC's Faith Abube leads us off from the scene in Tallahassee.
Tonight, terrifying scenes of officers clearing classrooms at Florida State University. Students with their hands in the air after authorities say a student who is the son of a Leon County Sheriff's deputy opened fire, killing at least 2 people. Students and staff running from the student union building just before noon in the middle of the sprawling campus in Tallahassee. A chaotic scene at the school as local, state, and federal law enforcement agents race to the scene. Danielle Estridi telling our Terry Moran she saw injured students.
I did see at least one. The law enforcement took that person out on a stretcher and laid them in the street until EMS showed up. There was one person across the way that seemed to get escorted in an office chair with wheels, and they got wheeled down to the street.
Armed officers clearing classrooms one by one.
Listen up real quick. We are trying to get all of you out of here in a timely manner. It is going to be a minute because there's a lot of you.
Holden Mamula describing seeing an officer with a gun.
It didn't feel real the entire time, and then it felt very real when I looked and saw an officer with an assault rifle, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening.
A music professor posting this image of the piano she used to barricade the door to her classroom.
I made sure I texted my mom and dad, made sure to let them know I was doing okay.
Luke Holgate is a freshman from Pennsylvania.
We were all just scared to death.
Law enforcement seen shackling the wounded suspect inside an ambulance, who authorities say is Phoenix Eichner, a 20-year-old student at FSU and the son of a sheriff's deputy.
The shooter is 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, and he's the son of a Leon County Sheriff deputy. Our Deputy Eichner, has been with the Leon County Sheriff's Office for over 18 years. Unfortunately, her son had access to one of her weapons, and that was one of the weapons that was found at the scene.
President.
What's going through the mind of someone who's going to shoot up the school? Now, we're also going to be looking at the Dallas school shooting. So many school shootings nowadays, which is scary, and anyone with kids out there, especially kids in college, you got to be worried about their safety. And now this is going to bring about, all these school shootings definitely going to bring about people trying to increase the gun regulations. But some people are going to say, if someone had a gun there, then they could have stopped it. And some people are saying, well, look, this is what happens when you have too loose of gun regulations. Now, a point that I heard that makes a lot of sense to me is that, look at Chicago. I think it's Chicago they was talking about, but some of the tightest, strictest gun laws, but then have some of the greatest murder cases. So I don't know. The main thing I always thought of is that you can't, there has to be someone who uses the gun in a bad way. You can't just blame the guns itself, because there's always going to be guns, and there's always going to be bad people who, even though however many laws you get, are going to be able to access the guns. Now, you definitely should go after the people who give or sell the guns to people who aren't supposed to have them, but you can't take away the guns from people who are law-abiding citizens and just trying to protect them and the people that they love. But let's get right into what Donald Trump has to say about it. I'm assuming, knowing how Donald Trump is, he's going to say the same thing I was saying.
And Trump today briefed on the shooting.
It's a shame. It's a horrible thing. Horrible that things like this take place.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, this is the 80th mass shooting so far this year, the 6th in Florida.
And Lindsay, investigators say the suspect ignored repeated commands to drop his weapon.
6 shootings in Florida so far is crazy.
Forcing them to shoot him. He's now in custody in the hospital being treated for non-life-threatening injuries. He has refused to speak with investigators as they try to uncover what
I never understand why is it so many times where I hear that they shoot the shooter and he's in the hospital. I hate to say it, but we're not shooting to kill nowadays, or to, Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy. Police officers, but all we can do is follow and see what's happening.
Allegedly led him to this deadly rampage. Tonight, this campus is closed and the victims are painfully waiting for some answers. Lindsay.
Another campus turned into a crime scene. Faith, thank you.
Meet the
Students, there should be no reason Now, I don't know what is going through his mind, what he experienced, but even if you were bullied, there is no reason you should be going in and shooting at people at school. There should be no reason. Talk to someone, get help. And I say, hey, people are going to get mad at me when I say this, but when I say Jesus, but let's look at this next video a little bit more on some of a little bit of this video about some of the Florida State universities, what happened at Florida State University. Let's look at this and see what happened.
A dangerous and life-threatening situation exists on campus.
Tonight on Eyewitness News at 6, we continue to follow the investigation underway at Florida State University in the wake of a deadly mass shooting.
Needless to say, we have multiple crime scenes. This is a very large area we're covering. We have hundreds or thousands of witnesses.
We're live with the latest updates from the scene.
And we begin this hour with that breaking news from Florida State University. We now know 2 people are dead. They are not students. 6 are injured, and police say the shooter is the son of a Leon County deputy and used his mother's personal weapon to commit this heinous crime. We have team coverage from Tallahassee as we gather the latest information from the ground. Good evening. I'm Martha Sigalski.
And I'm Darlene Jones. Certainly a difficult day for our local community. So many with children there in Tallahassee.
2 people are dead, and they were not even students. Were not students. Maybe teachers. Oh, jeez. It's so much violence that is happening. It's
family relative.
It's crazy.
This has been a shocking day to think of what happened to this beautiful campus because somebody got a gun and decided to open fire. What was it like at that very moment? One of the students sent me. The sound of gunfire. We've now learned that that was a deputy-issued revolver. It belonged to one of the deputies, a student resource officer here in this county, whose son is the one accused of at least 2 counts of murder and injuring of so many others. There's at least 6 others that are dealing with injuries, not to mention the psychological impact that all of this campus and really all of Florida is feeling right now tonight. In terms of that news conference, I've heard a lot of news conferences after school shootings, unfortunately, but this one was so much different because it was a deputy's son and a deputy's gun that created this shooting massacre here today. Take a listen.
But I will tell you this. We will make sure that we do everything we can to prosecute and make sure that we send a message to folks that this will never be tolerated here in Leon County, and I dare say across this state and across this nation.
It is insane what students are having to deal with. They said that there was some crazy amount, like 80 different school shootings or some crazy amount like that. What we're in April? Jesus. But the next thing we're going to be looking at is the Dallas school shooting. Now, this was happened a few days before all this took place. So let's get into that. Jesus. Now, this is remember to like and subscribe and go do your own research. That's all I can say. Everybody needs to go do their own research and understand what is happening out there in the world and review it for themselves. Now, let's get into this video.
17-year-old student with a gun gained access to Wilmer Hutchins High School, where police say he started firing in a crowded hallway.
It sent kids running for cover, parents rushing to the school. But we just got an update. 2 of the wounded students have been released from the hospital, while 2 others are recovering from surgery right now.
Court documents show this young man, 17-year-old Tracy Haynes Jr., was led into the high school around 1 p.m. yesterday by another unidentified student. The affidavit states Haynes walked the halls until he saw multiple male students, and that's when he started firing indiscriminately. The documents state that one of those students was not able to run, and that's when Haynes appears to shoot him at point blank.
Haynes turned himself in just after 9 o'clock last night, and WFAA has obtained video of him being booked into the Dallas County Jail. He's charged with aggravated assault mass shooting, the first time that charge is being used in Dallas County. Authorities were able to secure the campus after a little more than an hour, and paramedics rushed 5 students to a hospital.
And we've learned one of those students was not shot, but did suffer anxiety-related symptoms. Brittany Moncrief shows us the moments chaos broke out on campus.
We may not know their names.
The teacher stayed by the door just in case someone came in.
But they are certainly appreciated.
I want to tell that teacher thank you for protecting those kids.
This grandmother, who wants to remain anonymous, says she's grateful for the Wilmer Hutchins High School teacher who protected her grandson during Tuesday's shooting.
To put his life on the line for your child, that's something special.
This chilling surveillance video circulating on social media may be difficult to watch, as it shows a gunman firing shots into the school hallway, injuring 5 people. Police identified him as 17-year-old Tracy Haynes Jr. WFAA sources also confirming the authenticity of this video, showing school staff making what looks like a tourniquet to stop an injured student from bleeding.
How did this happen? Why did this happen again?
School board trustee Maxie Johnson says the school has made improvements to safety following a shooting on campus last year.
They're following the protocol that Dallas ISD has set in place with the clear bag policy. They're making sure that during intake that the proper protocols are followed.
But police say Haynes was led in by an unidentified person, which Johnson says shows more work needs to be done to address safety.
You can't put a price on safety, so I'm going to be advocating for more resources.
And of those 5 victims, Dallas Fire Rescue says 1 was treated for anxiety-related symptoms and 2 have been released from the hospital. All 5 are expected to be okay. And while the school remains closed and the fear still lingering, this grandmother,
my grandson told me, he said,
thanks the teacher.
He wants them to be safe. They got their whole life in front of them.
For keeping her grandson safe.
That was something wonderful to say to the kids.
In Dallas, I'm Brittany Moncrief.
What a brave teacher, reminding the students that they were his priority. The aggravated assault mass shooting charge Haynes faces did not exist 2 years ago. The changes were a result of a bill passed through the Texas legislature in 2023. The mass shooting charge makes this case a first-degree felony, which is punishable by 5 to 99 years in prison or life.
You got to go to jail for life. There's nothing. You go up and shoot people indiscreet. You shot someone point blank? Point blank? Yeah, you need to be in jail for your life. I don't care what happened to you. I don't care what happened to you. You need to be in jail for life.
This will be especially important when the case heads to trial. It can prevent the multiple aggravated assault offenses from being tried separately. You can read up on the entire history of this law and how it can be used by the district attorney's office. The full explanation is available right now on.
It is a crazy world that we live in. There's too much violence. Kids, teenagers, even adults, they are too quick to resort to violence when they need to express themselves and when they need to, they should be talking about it. They cannot resort to violence in all situations. Now, I don't know where we went wrong and where we need to change to stop that. Are we too lenient on the people who commit these? I don't know. But is it always just going to be some bad people who do these kinds of things? But it's been ramping up in recent years. I think that we are just desensitizing ourselves to violence, or the kids nowadays are just too desensitized to causing violence in response to them, to either an argument, a discussion, someone like, and when I say violence, yes, especially all kinds of violence, but I would rather, and I believe most people would rather have someone use their fist to fight, knowing that is way less likely to end in some irreparable consequences than someone pulling out a weapon and doing these kinds of things. But that is the show for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in. We're going to be watching stuff at least once every Friday. Maybe on Tuesdays we're going to be uploading. We're just going to keep running it up. More videos, viral videos, and news and things that we need to be discussing in all of our communities, not just the black community, not the white, in the community of the United States. We are all a community as itself. But remember to like and subscribe. This is AC Reviews the World, and I'm going to be back at you with more news, more of my thoughts, more things that we need to be thinking about. And thank you for all again. Listen, you already know I want to show the intro one more time. Listen, but that's it. Remember to like and subscribe. Peace.